The muses behind great songwriting are often more fickle than we'd like to imagine. Sometimes there's a real spark of imagination, a real creative drive, but since musicians are just regular people, they sometimes just connect with the song they hear on the radio like us mere mortals. Maybe the song so resonated with them that they needed to express those emotions in a tightly crafted chorus. Maybe the song inspired so much anger that they couldn't wait to hit the recording studio to verbally assault the creator. Or maybe they've just been called out for being a terrible human being in a hit song and feel the need to clear their name by writing their own hit song in response. I mean, haven't we all been there, guys? I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 famous songs that are actually responses to other famous songs. But first, make sure to check out the Spotify link in the description below to hear the tunes we're talking about today, and also please give us a subscribe if you want to support this new channel. Number 8, Katy Perry, California Girls, a response to Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' Empire State of Mind. Hip-hop feuds aren't anything new, and they stretch all the way back to the infamous East Coast-West Coast beef of the 90s. Nas and Jay-Z were in a notable tangle a few years ago as well, but while the two rap superstars were verbally assaulting each other's work, old Jay-Z probably didn't suspect that he was about to become entrenched in a bitter turf war with a pop songstress. Katy Perry, the I want to speak to the manager star of the pop world, took umbrage with all of the attention being paid to her colleagues in the East and wrote California Girls as her version of a diss track. Since the song is less than overt about it, you would be forgiven for overlooking the fact that California Girls was apparently a response to Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' massively praised Empire State of Mind. Perry said at the time that she was jealous of all the love that was given to the East Coast, going so far to say that Tupac was rolling in his grave. I'll just leave you with that. Number 7, Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly, a response to Don McLean, Empty Chairs. When you hear the words strumming my pain with his fingers, you likely don't think of the guy who wrote American Pie, the song, not the movie, although I suppose both fit. You probably think something horrible. Originally popularized by Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly was first written and recorded by Laurie Lieberman after seeing Don McLean perform at a club in Los Angeles called The Troubadour. In fact, the song was initially called Killing Me Softly with His Blues and was inspired by the heartache McLean expressed in the song Empty Chairs. For those unfamiliar with the tune, Empty Chairs is about a lost love and invokes some iteration of the old saying, you just don't know you've got until it's gone. When everyone else had left the club after McLean's set, Lieberman stayed and scrawled a short poem on a bar napkin, which she would later expand into the beautiful, heartbreaking song we know today. Number 6, response to LYNYRD SKYNYRD, That's How I Like It. Now here's a story that proves the old adage that if you're going to dish it out, you better damn well be able to take it. Decades after LYNYRD SKYNYRD lambasted Neil Young on Sweet Home Alabama for his marginalization of Southern pride, Green Day stepped in to reinvigorate the simmering musical feud, with Armstrong felt that SKYNYRD were pushing on their 2003 song That's How I Like It. It's victory songs a million times over. Lyrics such as, I like my women hot and my beer cold are admittedly lame, but pretty bland all things considered. Still it was a decade. Number 5, Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. A response to Elvis Presley, I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. The bulk of Meatloaf's songs contain no less than 50 impenetrable lyrics, usually repeated over and over again as to maximize the irritation felt by the listener who cannot, for the love that is all holy, just figure out what the hell it is this guy won't do for love. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, on the other hand, offers a much simpler message. Also, the chorus was directly stolen from an Elvis Presley song, not so coincidentally called I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. Ring any bells? Jim Steinman, longtime producer, lyricist, and the man behind the aforementioned Meatloaf hit I Would Do Anything for Love, was asked to write something simple for Bat Out of Hell, an album so overwrought and needlessly complex that it famously prompted Clive Davis to ask Steinman if he even knew how to write a pop song. Steinman was told to dumb it down for just one song so the record company would have something to put out as a single. While trying to figure out how exactly to do that, the Elvis song was playing on the radio. So Steinman did his best to mimic what made the song so catchy and simple, churning out a chorus similar in pattern but with just enough a little twist on it at the end. Number 4, Muddy Waters, Mannish Boy, a response to Bo Diddley, I'm a Man. blues titans Muddy Waters and Bo Diddley had an interesting relationship, one of moderately friendly competition that played out in their music. A long and prosperous chain of iconic songs kicked off when Diddley recorded a ditty called I'm the Man that was heavily influenced by Waters' Hoochie Coochie Man. Both songs were about their respective crooners' mojo, but later that same year, Waters recorded a mocking response called Mannish Boy, which is so similar to the song it's calling out you'd be forgiven for assuming they were both written by the same person. In fact, Diddley even gets a writing credit on the tune, perhaps because so much of it seems borrowed. A handful of lyrics are intentionally pulled nearly verbatim from I'm a Man, with Waters also spelling out his madness like his cohort also did. He also takes an opportunity to one-up Diddley's sexual stamina, clocking himself at 2 hours in the bedroom versus Diddley's 1. To make things more confounding, the musical structure of Mannish Boy centers on the classic call-and-response blues riff you've heard in songs like Bad to the Bone, a riff that was popularized in a little song called Hoochie Coochie Man, the song that kicked off this whole goddamn chain. Number 3, Woody Guthrie, This Land Is Your Land, a response to Irving Berlin, God Bless America. Known primarily as a cutesy folk standard sung in schools across America, This Land Is Your Land actually started out as a scathing critique of God Bless America. Irritated by the capitalist ideals of a country that seemed to relish economic disparity, Woody Guthrie considered Irving Berlin's ode to be very overly patriotic and unrealistic. And he hated that it was being played on the radio just about every time he turned it on. Out of frustration, he began writing a sarcastic little number he called God Blessed America for Me. Guthrie picked Berlin's song apart almost line by line. There's also this verse that takes umbrage with Berlin's version of being free. There was a big high wall there that tried to stop me. The sign was painted said private property, but on the backside it didn't say nothing. This land was made for you and me. Over time, and as more versions were recorded by other musicians, the song was clipped and primped to be more palatable for the general public. But the next time you hear the words "This land is your land," feel free to picture a giant middle finger pointing towards the nearest American flag. Number 2, John Mayer, Paper Doll, a response to Taylor Swift, Dear John. It's likely you don't even remember that Taylor Swift and John Mayer dated because, well, John Mayer has dated nearly every female celebrity in the world at some point or another. Still, their breakup was worth remembering, if only because it spawned a very passive-aggressive feud in their ensuing albums. First, Taylor Swift took a few swings with the incredibly on-the-nose Dear John, where she lamented ignoring all of her friends when they told her to, in so many words, run from her relationship with Mayer as fast as possible. She also proclaims that she was too young to be messed with, but that she was luckier than Mayer's previous flings, who were run dry and left with tired, lifeless eyes. It wasn't long before Mayer rebutted with Paper Doll, an obvious stab in Swift's direction. Here he mocks his ex-girlfriend's naivete, singing that although she might want to run away, she has no idea what she's actually running from. Number 1, Led Zeppelin, The Rain Song, a response to The Beatles' Something. Technically, this is less a response to a song than it is to the songwriter behind it, but the story is just too good to not include. At some point in the history of our magical universe, members of the Beatles and Led Zeppelin collided, and somehow we all didn't explode into a burst of the insignificant life refractions that we are in comparison to those two bands. When George Harrison and John Bonham crossed paths, it wasn't all high fives and groupie stories though. Apparently, Harrison couldn't wait to point out Zeppelin's one major flaw because he's a Beatle and could just do that without getting punched, I guess. He said, "The problem with your band is that you don't play any ballads." Apparently, in Harrison's eyes, Tangerine, Thank You, and Going to California didn't quite classify as ballady enough. Either that, or he had no idea that love songs and schlock are not always connected at the hip. So for Led Zeppelin's next album, Houses of the Holy, Bonham and company made sure to include The Rain Song, a 7-minute low-tempo, heart-rending tune that borrows the opening couple of notes from Harrison's own ballad Something. And that's just about the most respectful way you can ever tell a former Beatle to go screw himself. So that's our list. I know you guys think down in the comments below. Did you know that these songs were connected? Because I sure didn't before starting this video. But while you're there, could you use a like, share, subscribe, and head over to whatculture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Please, if you can, give us a subscribe. We are a new channel, and we want this to succeed, and we can only do that with you guys. So thanks a lot, even for watching this vid, and we'll see you soon. Bye.